All right, hopefully you guys can hear me now. Desktop audio down a little bit. Okay. So, hey, how's everybody doing today? Need to get set up here. I'm running a little bit behind. Sorry for that. Hey, OPAC. Hey, Silent Hillbilly. EA, OPAC Lopper. I already said OPAC. Sorry. Game Room. Welcome, guys. Cam Zone. So today, I assume you guys can hear me and everything, right? We're good to go. Today we are working on. We're gonna hit up a couple high priority tickets on Bitbucket. Hey McChicken, welcome. Good. So I'm gonna go load up Bitbucket here and take a look at a few tickets. I have some in mind um, for us to tackle, but so if we look at the tickets with the most votes on Bitbucket, the number one request is differentiating between separate region releases of the same game for imports. Uh, Now, the first thing we need to do as part of that is that on importing games, we just need to check for a region specifier in the file name of the game and put that in the region field. So that's part of what we need to do. So I was thinking about doing that, and then the attract mode stuff will be a lot of fun, but that's going to be a lengthy job, so I don't want to start on that right away. As we did just come out with the 6.3 release. Praise the Lord for that. That's out finally. Hey Sid, welcome. Steam video download is a highly voted one, so we might look into that. I'm thinking the other one I'd like to look into though is adding an option to delete game files when deleting games. I get that requested constantly, so people really want the ability to delete a ROM file when they delete a game. So then that's easy for the most part to do. So we'll go ahead and see if we can tackle that today, and whatever else we might get around to. So. And let me know. I mean, if you guys see something in this list that you think we should do today that isn't going to take us, 3 years to get done, let me know, and we can maybe try and tackle it. I'm up. I'm up. Basically, we still have a lot of stuff to wrap up. That's on our plate. But at the same time, to a certain extent, it feels like a fresh start here every time we come up with a new release. So it's kind of exciting to be able to tackle all the stuff that has been long requested now that we've got everything else wrapped up. So let's start with a quick prayer and then we'll get going here. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to do this and work together and build something awesome. I pray that you would help keep my kids in bed in their naps so that we can do this without interruption. Help them to behave and stay asleep for a while so we can be productive here. And help me to focus and bless all our conversations. Help them to be constructive and helpful. And in your name I pray. Amen. All right, so time to get busy. Pull up Visual Studio. What do you guys want to tackle first? What's most important to you guys? Well, let me know if you see something in this list that you want more than anything in the world. Let me know. Otherwise, what do you want me to do first? You want me to do deleting ROMs when deleting games, or do you want me to do the region stuff? Region stuff. Region. Okay. 2 votes is enough for me. So let's go ahead and do that. So in ROM file names, like no intro sets at least, let's take a look at these files, the file names. Obviously, there's not perfect standards, so this is um, going to be kind of, it's going to be difficult as far as parsing out the proper regions. Might be kind of tough, but we'll figure it out. Under, well, I got some stuff in here. So if we take a look at, let's start with SNES. You notice how we have the USAs across the board. We have Europe. We have USA Prototype. Um, Revision 1. I'm not sure. The hard part, guys, is going to be coming up with a list of all the possibilities, I think, if that makes sense. So, and I mean, we can tweak this over time as we find more and more of them. Um, but that's really going to be the trick with doing the region stuff. So it's not that much to it. It should be fairly easy to get done. It's just a matter of coming up with all the possibilities and mapping them up to the correct values. So, and in this set, I'm only seeing like USA and Europe. I'm not seeing much else. But of course, we have Japan is the next most popular one, and there's others too. There's country-specific ones like Germany and so many other countries. Um, I don't think that applies. Sega Genesis, I've got some in here, but I don't have a lot. The other trick is a lot of them will use U for United States, W for world, UE I think means USA and Europe. Um, so I mean, there's lots of different possibilities as far as how ROMs are typically named. NES is the other big one I've got in this folder, and that looks like it's. Anybody know? Is this the no intro format here with the USA and the Europe? Yeah, I think this is no intro. What we're looking at right here, I think. Um, and then this other format that we see in here for Genesis is also a popular format, but it's not the no intro format as far as I know. But we need to support both for sure because they're both commonly used in quality ROM sets. So let's go ahead and get started. TOSIC, okay. I've heard that around. I'm not an expert on that and what that means, but I've heard it around for sure. So if we go, this is part of the import process, and it's only going to, well, really we should put it in metadata and updates as well because it should parse out, if we run a metadata update, it should parse it out too for people who already have the stuff in their collection. So we'll need to add it in 2 different spots, the import process and the metadata update. Good set, sure. I thought good set used the same format as no intro, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I was under that impression, but I haven't done the research on that, and not recently, anyways. Okay, so um, this really shouldn't be doing. It's not happening in the form itself. It's happening in the actual process, which happens in the working control. So the code for this is going to happen in here, and thankfully this should be fairly straightforward for the most part. We might actually get quite a bit done today if I keep tackling these small tickets but important tickets, you know. Um, well, here's the download metadata and images process. I need to find. Let's just use this. That'll save us some time. There's run ROM import task, which is ultimately what we need. Oh, that just starts the background worker, and then download metadata and images. Well, this is probably the meat of it right here. This is where we do the actual import process. Okay, good set definitely uses, oh, a different format. Okay. Hmm. If anybody knows details on those formats, because we're working on this right now, so if anybody's got a collection of the various formats, like screenshot it or something, and link us here so that we can take a look at, or I can take a look at it so we don't miss anything. Because I'm not an expert in all the various ROM formats out there necessarily. So, but we want to cover as much as we possibly can so this actually works. Wow, game room. That's cool. All right, so let's go into. I'm thinking I should put a. I'm wondering if maybe I should. I could make a utilities method for it. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. All I really got to do is say public static string get region from file name. String file name. Okay. And yeah, if you can, OPAC, I'd appreciate it. If you've got any resource, I mean, I don't really want to spend time on the stream searching Google for examples, but if you have an example, then definitely hit us up. Um, let's take a look at this link here real quick. Oh, these are emulator file extensions? Or what am I supposed to click on here? OPAC. Because that doesn't really help us, the emulator file extensions. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. You know what? Yes, there is, and actually we took it down because nobody was using it. However, it's still up. It's just not linked. So let me get you that link here real quick. Actually, I think it's. Let me check. I think it's just launchbox-app/merch. This was a big fiasco. You know, I don't like putting a lot of work into something and have it bomb. But ultimately, that's what happened. And we haven't had very many situations where we put effort and work into something. We actually held a contest and everything to get designs for the shirts, and this awesome design came out of that. You got LaunchBox a little notification there, like an achievement, and I love that shirt. Uh, but anyways, so here's the merch store. It's just launchbox-app.com/merch, and this all still works. It goes through Spreadshirt, and I'll tell you what, Spreadshirt really put me through hell. I was really disappointed in Spreadshirt. For one thing, when we first built this page, and built the whole solution. I mean, they promise everything under the sun, and then you build the products. And I paid, $100 for demo products across the board of mugs and so many other things. And the mugs, for one thing, the mugs that I received were so poor quality, it just looked terrible. It didn't it, and I mean I did everything as best I could. I did everything right, and still they gave us the crappiest quality products I had ever seen in my life. However, thankfully the shirts are decent quality. I haven't even tried the pillowcase or the pins, um, but you can be confident that the quality of the shirts are good. Um, so, but I got so frustrated and irritated at Spreadshirt, and then the fact that we had 0 orders and nobody seemed to care. I just took this down because I didn't want something up there that wasn't successful. But it's free, and I mean, you're free to. It's not free. You're free to get stuff from here. We get a very tiny cut from this stuff. Most of it goes to Spreadshirt. So it's not something we're going to make much money on. But it's something that if you want to spread the word, then please do. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it, Chris. ROM suffix explanations. Awesome. U or E or UE or UE. Yeah, sure. That means USA or Europe, and that means, of course, the what's it called? The verified ROMs or whatever. Avoid bad ROMs like the plague. Well, this is helpful. Thank you. Thank you, EA. I appreciate it. Has country codes, standard codes, special codes, country codes. Awesome. Great. Then we can put all these in there. Um, so that doesn't cover everything, but it covers this and everything for this format. So that's a big help. If somebody has any documentation on the no intro format, that'd be awesome too. No worries, OPAC. I probably didn't explain it very well. I appreciate it though. All right, so let's do it. So I think what I'm going to do, we kind of need a dictionary, I think, would be the best way to do this. Um, so I'm just going to, whatever. We probably need a static, probably be best to do this so that you only have to build the dictionary once, I'm thinking. So let's put a field in here, call it private static dictionary of string. If I could type region code, region codes. That's fine. Now, if utilities.regioncodes equals null, then we need to build it. And then, so we'll build it in a second. And then all we got to do is for each string region code in region codes, or in region code codes.keys. There it is. If file name, we kind of need, let's say, file name equals path.get file name without extension. Just in case it's a folder path, we want to make it just the file path. And then if file name dot contains the region code, quality compare. How do I do? We have to make it be not case sensitive. Why is this string comparison dot ordinal ignore cases? I think what I need to do. But I think I actually have a this is a gap in .NET if I remember correctly. And I have something that does this. How do I do it? Case insensitive string collection. I had that, but that doesn't come on, there's a way to do this. I got to look it up. I forget. Case or C# case insensitive contains. On Stack Overflow, of course. It's stupid. I hate that. There ought to be an easier way to do that. Basically, you got to use index of. If file name dot index of region code string comparison dot ordinal ignore case is greater than or equal to 0. That means it was found. Actually, it should be. It's always going to be greater than 0 because the first one is. I mean, it's never going to be the first character in the name. That wouldn't make any sense. But it doesn't. That's not really good logic either. We'll go ahead and leave that in there. Then we know our. Basically, we're going to return utilities dot region codes region code, because that's going to be the actual region. Okay, if string dot is null or empty file name, I'm just going to return null. And then we have to construct our utilities dot region codes equals new dictionary of string string. And finally, we have to populate our region codes. That's simple. What's the issue here? Come on, Ray Sharper. Oh, of course. All right, so all we got to do is add our regions now, and we're gold, I think. Awesome. Thank you, Sid. Let's take a look at this stuff. The good codes. Okay, country codes. This looks like the same or similar. And then no intro. Oh, we got a zip file here. Interesting. The official no intro convention. Oh, you guys are pulling up all kinds of great stuff. That's awesome. Thank you. PDF. All right. Haha. Beautiful. We're going to do this right. Single region codes. Of course, there's not only are there single region codes, there's multiple region codes, but they're uniform. Okay. Well, this is pretty straightforward then. That's great. This order is to be respected. Interesting. Well, I think we're set, guys. We got 3 different types, or at least 2 different types. Let's start with the no intro stuff here. Let's get an example or get our first line going. What we're going to do basically is utilities.regioncodes.add. Then we have the key, and we have the actual text that's going to go into the region field down the game. So let's start with these. Hopefully I can copy these for the most part. Yeah, that didn't paste very well. No surprise. Okay, now what I can do here is copy that. Ultimately, I'm going to want to get rid of the tab there. Probably do this quick. There we go. Okay, and then after this, we have to put in the actual what's going to go in the region itself, the region field itself, and in this case, it's just going to say Australia and Brazil. Most of these are going to be the same. Canada. Oops. China. You know what? This is also good because we need to figure out how to better populate regions on the LaunchBox Games database. So now that we have all these narrowed down, we'll be able to specify, or we'll be able to figure out what that list should look like. So that's great. Germany, Hong Kong, Italy, come on, Japan, Korea. I guess this is really the Netherlands. I don't know. Spain, Sweden. And this is tricky because it says USA includes Canada. So what I'm going to do is just say North America because I think that's what that really means ultimately. I could be wrong, but I mean, there's no Mexico. I'm not sure if that's even considered still North America, but I think it is. Um, so I think USA actually means North America. So you guys can yell at me if you think I'm wrong in that regard. Okay, so that's a good start, but we have more here, obviously. Let's go grab. This is really cool, though. PDF of the official no intro rules. That's incredible. I didn't even know that existed. Okay, then we have the multi-region codes, which we need. I think, yeah, we'll copy paste them. Why not? All right. Same thing. One thing that I'm thinking about here that's tricky though is right now we're basically returning a single region, and we have the possibility of there being, especially with the different formats, there's a possibility of there being multiple regions listed in separate sets of parentheses. So I need to handle that. I just realized, just discovered, but that shouldn't be that difficult. So world means world. Europe means Europe. Asia means Asia. This means USA. Oops. USA, Japan. Actually, North America, Japan. Japan, Europe. Europe, Japan. And USA and Europe becomes USA, Europe. No, North America. All right. So there we go there. So that's one set. I think that handles no intro. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. What is this? This obviously we have. Oh, these are the language codes, which are different. This flag is only added if more than one language is available in the game. Sure. I remember seeing that. Okay, so we can ignore that. That's not what defines the region. So we're populating region right now, so we can ignore that. So we're good here with no intro. That's awesome. Thanks to Sid. We can check out good set next. Can you also do translated tags as well? For example, Japan. Sure. Translated English. I get you. Is that, I guess that makes sense. We can add that. That's not going to go into the region field, though. That wouldn't really make any sense to put that in region. We would need a new field for translation because I don't want to hack it. I want to do it right if we're going to do it. But that is a great idea, and that's the first time somebody's brought that up, I think, Kaleidoscope, so I appreciate that. We can see if we can get to that maybe in this session. We'll see. So we're going to move on to good set here. Are you from Canada, Silent Hill? Make a field for custom suffixes. Can you explain that, OPAC? Custom suffixes? Okay, so here is the country codes. Filing codes and name schemes give the majority. Standard codes, don't care about those. I care about these. I don't think I care about those. These are translations. System specific codes. Yeah, we got to look at more of these. All right, well, we'll start here. Where am I at here? Got too many browser windows open. All right. Silent Hill. Yeah, no comment. No comment. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Uh, OPAC, so you can type in something by yourself to filter for it. I still don't fully understand you, OPAC. I'm sorry. Uh, Custom suffixes. Yeah, I'm not following. I mean, you can already type in custom fields and everything else and filter by custom fields. So I don't get you. All right. In the meantime, let's take a look at. I already did have Wikipedia up here somewhere. There it is. So here are our. I don't care about public domain, unlicensed. We need these. Yeah, the search function does work great for that. Thanks, Game Room. All right, that'll do. I think I'm gonna. I don't know. Maybe I should just manually type this stuff. Might be easier. Copy this line. That's enough. Hey, Beatomaniac, welcome. Right now we're working on populating region automatically from the file name. Um, we're also looking at the possibility of deleting ROMs when you delete games. So that's what's on the list. Basically, we're just tackling high priority Bitbucket tickets right now. A, AS, B, this is going to take a little bit. might be actually quicker to type them. F, G, and obviously, you know what? That was stupid. I should just do that because that'll save me a little bit of work. Okay. G, GR, HK, I, J, K, NL, NO, R, S, SW, U, UK, and W for world. Okay, now we just have to type in the actual values here. OPAC says, but you cannot when adding games in there, you can only select and delete items. I thought you were working on that right now. Sorry if I misunderstood you. Custom suffixes. I'm sorry, OPAC, I'm still not really following. Custom suffixes. Oh, you mean custom suffixes in the ROM files themselves, I assume. Thanks, Beetlemaniac. Appreciate that. Yeah, 6.3 is out, and so far it's been a smooth release. Praise the Lord. So I think I mean, it's been smooth, other than a few hitches. Or I think there's been a couple people that we've seen tickets on with issues. But so we might end up putting out a 6.4 here quickly. But that's typical. It's been a smooth release, smoother than usual, smoother than last time. So that's great. We ended up putting out 6.1 and 6.2 in like hours when 6.0 came out. So I'm pretty pleased. Random videos too. Yeah, random videos are actually in there. Um, the problem is they're in 6.3. The only issue with them is they don't start one right after the other. So that's that's still on my plate. All right, Australia. Anyways, OPAC. I think I get what you're saying. So custom suffixes in the ROM files, so you can populate your own. Um, I don't think we're gonna do that right here. Yeah. But I don't think that's going to be very common. But I guess it does make some sense as far as like if you've got a special ROM set that has some kind of weird suffix, we could build some neat logic to tell it to populate a particular field or something like that. But that would be a lot of work, I think, actually. So as cool as that does sound, I like that idea. That's a great idea. We could put in a Bitbucket ticket for that, but probably won't get that done today. Asia, Brazil, Canada, China, the Netherlands, Europe, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong. Is that Italy? Yeah. Italy, Japan, Korea, Netherlands, Norway. Italy, Japan, Korea. Why are there two? Oh, Netherlands, Dutch, and Netherlands. Oh, great. Well, we're not. This isn't. Eh. I don't want to put a language in the region field because that's not what this is. Although they're obviously very similar and they blend together, but you know, I want to keep it clean. Spain, Sweden, United States, or should I do USA? Nah, we'll do that. That's probably also North America, come to think about it. But United Kingdom and world again. Okay, so there were some more I needed to look at, I think, in that article. Dumb headset driving me nuts. So we started there. Universal codes. Don't think there's any regions in here. Translations. Good GBX. Good Gen. Japan and Korea. That's one we need. I'm going to move this over so I can look at it while I'm working on this stuff. So this is 1, Japan, Korea. 4 is United States, Brazil. 5 is NTSC. 8 is PAL. F is World. B is non-USA. Well, what do I do about non-USA? I guess I'll put non-USA in there. It's better than nothing. Okay, that looks like it's it for the good gen codes, good NES codes. Nothing there I care about. Nothing there. Thankfully, that's it for the good set stuff. What else we got? Good to hear, Silent Hill. I hope I'm not destroying your life, though. All right, so let me scroll up and find some other stuff. EA gave us the suffix explanations. Take a look at this. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. One problem we have is that I already see a conflict here. So like for Sega Genesis, 1 is Japan there, but I already have 1 in here as well, it's Japan Korea. So maybe it's not a conflict. 4 is USA. USA Brazil though. 5 is yeah, okay, so I think these are the same. B is Brazil, and this has 8 is no. This has B as Brazil, but I have B as non-USA. I don't know. I'm going to trust Brazil. That makes a lot more sense. Check some country codes. 1, Japan and Korea. 4, United States and Brazil. A, Australia. J, Japan. B, Brazil. K, Korea. Most of these we're already going to have. C, China. Yeah, we have some conflicts here. Is I have C, Canada, and CH, China, but this is saying C, China. So, unfortunately, some of this stuff is not going to be perfect no matter what we do, unfortunately. But we can, do the best we can. Netherlands, Europe, France is right. Spain is right. F is world. F is France and world. So there's another issue. FC is French Canadian. So FC is Canada. SW Sweden. FN Finland. I don't think I have FN. U I have for USA. G is Germany. Greece is there. Unknown country. Hong Kong, Italy, Holland. I don't think I have H for Holland. And then unlicensed. So there's not too many conflicts. That's good. There's only a couple, a few. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's answer some questions here. Won't using two different F values cause a conflict? That's the thing. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not gonna try and figure out what set it is to come up with um, the correct one. So the way it stands right now is F is always going to be France. Ideally, we would just put in whatever the most popular one is. But if there's conflicts, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So if basically, I know no intro is the type we recommend. When we got no intro covered perfectly, and then good set should be the second. And we covered the good set standard. So no intro and good set are the standards. So hopefully your ROMs are in no intro and good set format, and if they're not, it'll do it the best job it can, and it might get some stuff wrong, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's what we're gonna have to live with, unfortunately. Is because if two different naming standards call one particular thing the same thing, how do we know what naming standard is going to be used? There's no good way to do that. So unfortunately, Kaleidoscope, there's no solution for that. All right, Beatlemaniac, since Brad has more free time now because Kirsten has been hired, do you think he'll be able to do 2 tutorials a week now? Maybe one feature-specific tutorial and one emulator-specific tutorial. Possibly, although we're kind of running out of the system-specific tutorials to do. So if you have requests for Brad to do on that, let him know. There are a few systems that he is holding off on doing because we're waiting to add some features to LaunchBox before we get them done. Um, the multi-disk systems, for instance, can be a real bear right now. So that's something that is on our plate on my plate to do. Um, but we are he is gonna work on some high definition platform videos for us, which I'm excited about. And he's going to do a lot of experimentation and how to improve the videos and some more video types and all kinds of stuff in that regard. So, and if you have ideas for what you want to see Brad produce, then let us know because um, you guys have better ideas than we can come up with on our own because there's a lot more people in the community than us. So that's absolutely. I'm excited about opening Brad up to some other things. We are working. I want to basically move Brad more towards. Um, I see a question down here about Kirsten as well. Basically, what I want to do is I want to move Brad more towards video production, tutorials, technical help, stuff like that. And move him a little bit. He's no longer on Bitbucket. That's going to be taken over by Kirsten. And Brad, I want to move him less off the forums and more into video production and helping out where necessary on the forums. But he doesn't need to be the guy answering every single one because Kirsten is going to be doing that. So, but Kirsten is basically going to be doing. The goal for Kirsten is to get her doing basically everything on the forums, or as much on the forums as possible, as well as on the Bitbucket, and then also get Kirsten doing marketing stuff, social networking, and eventually I'd like to get Kirsten doing some videos too. But that's not the priority right now for her. So, yeah, cool stuff going on there. Um, but all the tweets, all the social stuff, we're gonna try and ramp that up a little bit. And she's gonna be in charge of that as well as basically all the customer support type stuff. So that's exciting. Critical Sid, don't forget the TOSIC tags. Did you link me to that, Critical Sid? I think you did, but let me check. Yeah, TOSIC. Thank you. Yeah, we'll add that here. in a second. I'll take a look at that in just a second. Let me get through the rest of the comments here. Yeah, Kaleidoscope says F for France and F for world, depending on the standard, but no intro. It's either no, it's the good sets say F means France, so that's what we're sticking with. Unfortunately, I don't know what that other format was, but if it's conflicts, we'll check TOSEC to see what it says, I guess. Next. Uh, Game Room says you can put Brazil under South America. Why would I do that, Game Room? I'm just I'm not following exactly. I know obviously Brazil's in South America, but if it's specific to Brazil, then I'm thinking we should leave it as Brazil. I might be missing something. EA says it goes by the letter, not the country name. What do you mean by that, EA? Sorry, I'm dense, I guess. Ali, I'm glad this is making you happy, brother. All right, OPAC. That's why I asked to add a custom field before, because the suffixes aren't standardized. Sure, that makes sense. Still, I'm not going to do that today, although we can do that eventually. It's just we'd have to build a whole interface and everything, and it would take more than this stream to get that done. Game Room. I was thinking about doing a video tutorial for the SNES using Hygen as the emulator. That sounds awesome, Game Room. I'd love to see the more tutorials we can get out there, the better. Um, I'm not sure if you meant to get Brad on that, but I'd love to see that tutorial. Absolutely. Billy. Beatlemaniac, have you considered reaching out to other YouTubers for video tutorials with LaunchBox? Simply Austin mentioned a while ago he wants to do a rocket launch tutorial synced with LaunchBox, for example. Absolutely, yeah. We're in talks with Simply Austin. We're pretty close to Simply Austin, so I haven't pushed him in a while, but we definitely need to push him again to get back on that rocket launcher thing. I really want. We've been waiting for that rocket launcher tutorial from Simply Awesome for quite a while. So hit him up and ask him. As the more people ask him, the more likely that's going to be to happen. But he knows that we'd love to see that already. OPAC. Most Western games for Sega Genesis are called UE. So yeah, well we can add UE. UE is that just means USA and Europe, I think. Um, so we can add that. It's only going to be an issue when it conflicts. So, you know, I didn't think about that because these codes here, they can be more than one inside the parentheses, can't they? Yeah, so we're going to have to find an exhaustive list for that too. That's a good point. Game room just to separate them to avoid conflicts with other sets. Yeah, it would be good, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that right away. Yeah, absolutely. Austin's awesome. Okay. Uh let's take a look at this TOSEC thing. See what we can figure out there. Hmm. Country. Wow. Okay. In the case of two countries being required, both are given, alphabetized, and separated by a hyphen. Of course, this is going to severely complicate everything. Doesn't that just figure? All right. Well, crap. And adds a million different countries. Goodness sakes. Are games even released for all these individual countries? I guess so. And language flags. So this means, I mean, if we do this, we have to separately implement a system that is going to look for everything in parentheses and then separate them out by a dash and then do it. But I guess the other issue is that this format here um, can have several at once as well. I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn on doing all this. I'm gonna add UE for United States and Europe, and I just want to get this tested here first. I don't really want to spend all day parsing out all these different values. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we want to tackle this like all the way through and try and get that implemented as well as the standard sets that we recommend? I'm not very familiar with TOSEC. What is TOSEC available in anyways? What I mean, where does that come from and who? Because honestly, I've never seen this format before. Where do you get it, and what platforms is it available for? Is my question, I guess. That's true, Beatlemaniac. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody hit up Simply Austin for sure. Ask him to build us a rocket launcher tutorial video. I need that badly for myself. I really do. All right, so but what do you guys think? I don't know who uses TOSEC. Who's seen TOSEC? What's it used for? Uh, all that kind of stuff. Do we want to spend the next uh, hour, maybe 2 hours, going through and doing text parsing to get all this perfect? Really, only if it doesn't make you want to cry. The thing is, the problem is there's no way to make this perfect. There really isn't. This isn't something that we can do with perfection, uh, because unless we provide a very complicated user interface and system to be able to specify what the naming convention is and customize the naming convention and all that stuff. But the point of LaunchBox isn't to make this uh, like absolutely perfect for anal retentive people. The point, frankly, is to make it easy and make everything make turn. I mean, it's sort of like I want to turn people who aren't really that good at emulation into people who have all the data and can and do it well. I don't want to make a super complicated interface with 10,000 different options and you load it up and it says and it asks you for the naming convention and it lists TOSEC, good set, no intro, and have uh, poor Joe who has no idea what any of it means be confused. That's the trick with doing something like that. I'd rather just make it work. Yeah, I no intro is definitely the go-to set, but it also doesn't cover. I mean, the no intro set doesn't have all the different regions either. And I recommend no intro just because it makes the most sense. But it's also not conclusive. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have everything, all the different regions. Yeah, the easy. That's what I focus on more than anything else. I want to focus on ease of use. I want to give everybody their data, but I don't want to make it difficult and make people have to, you know, um, study the stupid thing for 10 hours before being able to import their games. So that's the trick there. But I only use no intro and redump. Sure. Comparison of ROM sets. Interesting. That's cool. Good sets, good tools. Okay. Very similar to TOSEC, but slightly more refined. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Redump only for optical media. Huh. ExoDOS. Interesting. So TOSEC is the major one that we're not covering, basically. Of course. I think I'm going to leave TOSEC off for now, though, unless anybody's yelling at me. Yeah, that makes sense. So it feels to me like people have moved on from TOSEC for the most part. Holy crap. 346 versions of Super Mario World. That's impressive. Could it? You tell me. I don't know. Uh, is it going to get me in trouble for promoting no intro ROMs? I don't know. Uh, the law is a joke for all this stuff. Um, obey copyright, absolutely. But is it illegal for me to talk about no intro ROMs? For me to recommend people go get no intro ROMs? Nobody can tell you. It's wishy-washy. The law doesn't. The U.S. law doesn't tell me whether that's legal or not. Um, so I have to assume it is. But I mean I it's mushy waters. It's not any fun. Um, I try not to worry about that. And to be honest, there's that's one reason I'm really happy I've got the Lord on my side, frankly, because there's a lot of this stuff is risky. It's very possible that I could turn around tomorrow, and even though I'm not handing out ROMs. I'm not giving ROMs to people. I'm not selling anything illegal. My software is 100% legal, and I'm trying to do things as morally as possible. I'm trying to do things right. I recommend it. Everybody buys their video games if they're available for purchase. I buy all my video games if they're available for purchase. Even the Wii Virtual Console, I buy stuff all the time. If it's available, I want to play it. I'm going to buy it. But and that's what I recommend people do. Um, but there is a line, and there's nothing I can do about it. That but anyways, yeah, it's a risk. It's always a risk in the emulation scene, especially when you're like me and you're producing software for the emulation scene. Absolutely, there's a risk there. So who knows? I could turn around tomorrow and be arrested, which would be horrible. But I pray and hope that that doesn't ever happen, and I take all the precautions I can. But if I never speak up, then nobody would have a product. So that's kind of the trick there. Tangent done. Okay, let's see. When are we going to see Pokemon Go integration? To be honest, NA Donate, I have never been a Pokemon fan, and I've heard Pokemon Go quite a few times, but I have no idea what it is. Don't shoot me. Okay, Critical Sid, could you add preferences for multi-region game versions? For example, if I have a Genesis game with the USA Europe tag, I would prefer the European Mega Drive cover over the North America Genesis one. Yes, that's something I still need to do. I need to add region prioritization for the image types. We already have image types that support the region. We don't have. Um, we need a prison box version. Yeah, right. We don't have. Uh, we don't have that the region support in there yet as far as region prioritization for the images, but that can certainly come. That's on its way. I think I've got a ticket in there somewhere for that. The sets do have a ton of different duplicates from different regions. They sure do, Stivalus. And I'm not the one. I'm not one that will import multiple copies of a game, and we don't recommend that. Although lots of people do use LaunchBox that way. Certainly don't recommend it because it's kind of silly. There's not much reason to have multiple regions games in your collection unless you're a preservationist and you're really hardcore and all that stuff. But anyways, moving on. It's terrible. It's just a pedometer. You're talking about the legalities game room. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna stick with this for now, and we're gonna see what kind of results we get with the various sets. We'll do some testing, and we can come back to this, and we can always make it better later on. But for right now, I think I'm gonna stick to this list. The one thing that is tricky for me is sure we have UE for United States and Europe, but if I'm looking at like well, my Sega Genesis collection here, this isn't very much. I mean, I don't have very much in here. Well, I do. I have a whole Sega Genesis set right here. UUE. It would be good to see, what all is in here. Because when one thing I'm thinking about is we have the list of all the codes, but we don't have the multiple codes situations for this particular set. I think this JU. I think this is basically the good set stuff that we're looking at. This is the good set format, I think. Speak up if I'm wrong. So I kind of need a list of all the duplicates that are typical in good sets is what I need. As a European, I need some games from different regions. Ah, interesting. Can you explain that, OPAC, as far as what exactly you need? Oh, Pokemon Go. Interesting. So I assume you were joking then about the Pokemon Go thing. Sure. So that's good set. So the one thing we're missing is like the various combinations, which could probably in theory be anything, but I'm sure not everything exists. So JU is going to be Japan and United States and Japan. So, anyways, I think what we can do is we can import and then figure out whatever doesn't have a region. We can probably do that. I'm going to put these on top. Not on top, but right here. Okay, and then the next thing we do to get back into the code, we did need to check for multiples of these potentially. I'm not sure if that's worth doing because the good sets, if I remember correctly, the good sets and um, uh, the no intro sets don't uh, don't ever put multiples in there for the region, but I could be wrong. European versions run on 50 hertz frames per second, sure, and that causes lags in some games. They just run slower. That makes sense. So having an NTSC version is always better. Oh, okay, interesting. So you go for US version games then? Huh? I didn't know that. All right, so for now, I'm just doing this. We can come back and add multiples later if needed. But I just want to make this actually work here first so we can test it out. Get rid of that line. Clean up this method. And then now all we got to do is when we import a particular game, a particular ROM in the working control, we got to call this method to get the region and populate the region. ROM import background worker do work. I think we're using a get game method somehow or other. Maybe not. Yeah, there it is. Do we feed it the file name is the next question because we're going to need the file name. We have the operation and the task. So yeah, we have the file name in the task, I believe. Okay, and so what we can do here, I want to search this block for region. We do it here, ROM operation.region. And then if, well, I think what we're going to do is this, string region equals ROM operation. So we have task. Do we have task.filename? Oh, operation is the single one, I guess. Yeah, there it is. Operation.filepath. Okay. So what we can do is say region equals utilities dot get region from file name, and we feed in operation.filepath. And then if not string dot is null or empty region, we simply set game.region equal to region. And I think that'll do it just like that. This is get game, but it's only for imports. So we'd also need to do it for metadata updates. So we'll go do that next, and then we'll be able to test this. Copy. I don't think there's anything else I need to do here, really. I don't think we set region anywhere else. I should do a search, though, and make sure. In the current block, region. Yep, that's it. Okay, and then metadata updates. There it is. Okay, now this is for the local DB. I kind of want to do this outside of the local DB or any of that. And then Wikipedia. All right, now I'm going to do this all after we've done everything basically. We have the game, so we can say if string dot is null or empty. No, we don't want to do that. We want to say, yeah, we do want that. So if task dot, what is the setting? Darn it. Download mode is download mode dot replace. Then or string dot is null or empty game dot region. Then what we can do is check the ROM, the file path. So task dot. That's the other thing is do we have a file path? I'm not sure we do in this situation. Task dot games. Where do we get game? We feed it in here. Okay. So this is a single game operation. Oh, we have the file path in the game. I get it, of course. Duh. So the application startup path ultimately, what we can say is if now string region equals utilities dot get region from file name application dot startup, or no, not that, I'm losing my mind. Game dot application path. I think that'll do it. And if it's null, then if it's null or empty, it's just going to return null anyway, so that doesn't matter. Now if not string that is null or empty region, then we can say game.region equals region. There it is. Boom. All right. Let's catch up on the comments here. I'm going to go ahead and build this though because it should be ready to go. And a donate, if I move my LaunchBox installation to my SSD, will I see a performance increase as far as image caching and the app loading? Likely, yes. Probably not that significant, but yes, you'll see an increase in performance, I expect. A lot of what LaunchBox does is CPU intensive, but as far as loading media, definitely you should see a speed increase there. I would expect, especially in big box, although LaunchBox probably too. Ali, what are the differences between revision 1 and revision 2? That's the question. Yeah, hey DOS, welcome. We're getting regions in there. And then yeah, delete function, that's coming next. That's what I'm planning on doing next. Ali, Twitch is glitching for me. I didn't post last minute comments. I logged out and they are rolling in. No worries. Delete function, please. Okay. Well, we will do that next here. We still got an hour and 45 minutes before we're done. So yeah, we'll definitely do a delete function as a priority next. I knew that would be a high priority for people. And we're about done with the region thing. I just wanted to get it in here. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to do some testing first to see how well it works and fix things if needed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use the development instance here. Give it a run. I'm in a different language because I did that for testing purposes. So let me fix that so I can actually see and read what I'm doing. Game room, yeah, we could certainly do that, but I'm not sure it's going to help a whole lot, to be honest, because that would be, in other words, I'm not sure if it's going to help performance much to increase it to 16 gigs. It's just basically going to be I mean, it would be super easy for me to do, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to give people the impression that LaunchBox needs 16 gigs of RAM to run, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. The I'm not sure that it's going to really help. I don't think it's going to really help performance to use that much. All it really does is allows you to keep the images in RAM while you're running LaunchBox. It's not even used in Big Box, um, and there should be plenty of time to load them up from the hard disk after 4 gigs is full. That's the thing, and that 4 gigs is already way more than you need. 512 megs is fine. That's what I use. If I go to my well, this isn't my actual instance, but my RAM cache, I never set it any higher than the default, which is 512 megs. So really, you shouldn't need, even for huge collections, you shouldn't need it much higher than 4 gigs. I don't think. I could be wrong, but you know. Hey, K Money, welcome. Sure, Beatlemaniac. Yeah, I'll talk to him. I've already talked to him about it, Beatlemaniac, quite a few times, but I'll hit him up here soon. Sure. If you and that's with the RAM cache enabled, I'm sure. OPAC. If you turn the RAM cache off, it should use only like 300 megs. We're working on regions, K Money, for regions on imports. So I'm going to demonstrate that right about now. I'm just going to clear this out. We don't need this stuff. This is just for testing purposes from a long time ago. And I'm going to go to manage platforms and clear out my platforms. Make sure we don't got anything here. I should have just done that anyways. Okay. Fix one other thing. When you switch between languages, it doesn't automatically change the text there because you can customize it, and so that's tricky. There it is. Okay, let's go ahead and do an import. We're not gonna download anything, but we don't need to. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go to import ROM files, add files. We're gonna go to we'll start with a no intro set SNES. star.7-zip, which will filter to only the actual ROMs. Control A, and it'll add them all. And next, and Super Nintendo. I'm just gonna cheat. We don't need to make them actually work for this. And we're gonna use the files in their current location. I am gonna leave that checked, but I'm gonna uncheck all the images. Come on, come on. I'm so glad Amy Movies is back, by the way. That was bad, having it be down. Okay, so that's all fine. Let's go ahead and run it. And it should go lightning quick because it's not downloading anything. Oh, but it's going to download the metadata update. First one takes a little longer, but then it should shoot. And we'll see what has regions and what doesn't for SNES. The moment of truth, yes. OPAC, can you see what users are downloading for their LaunchBox? No, not really. I don't know exactly what you mean. Well, I get it. Yeah. Can I see what users are doing? No, not currently. I've tried to keep privacy up. The only thing I do see is when people run an update check when they start up the app. So I have an idea how many times people are running the application. As long as they haven't disabled the updates, I know how many times people open the application. But that's all I see. I don't know anything else really. Ooh, that's interesting. We have a glitch. An item with the same key has already been added. This might be, it could be new code. That's weird. All right, so anyways, can we arrange by region? I think we can. Yep. So there's one Brazil game. There's a whole lot of Europe. One France. Whole lot of North America. Again, this is testing the no intro set, which should be the most typical. This is going to be really handy. I'm happy. I'm happy we're getting this done. It'll be nice for my own collection too. And the good thing is you won't have to re-import anything. You can just run the download metadata and updates wizard in theory, and it should fix stuff. So that's exciting too. Almost everything in here obviously is North America, which is what you get with a no intro set. That makes sense. We're still going in North America. And then we're into North America and Japan. So there's just a few options here basically, but nothing came over without a region, which is great. That means it worked. North America, Japan, and then Brazil, Europe. For a no intro set, that makes sense. France, North America. Great to hear, Game Room. That's awesome. All right, so next, let's try another platform. Let's try Sega Genesis, which is using the different format. ROM files, add files would go into my LaunchBox dev instance. This is my old instance of LaunchBox, basically. We go into Sega Genesis, and I'm going to pull all the Sega Genesis games. Let's filter it to star.zip to get only the ROMs in case there's game saves in there or something like that. And open those. And this is Sega Genesis. There it is. Doesn't matter. Current location. Yes. None. Next. None. I do need to look into what caused that dictionary error. That's really weird. I need to make a note of that. Okay. None selected. Do your thing. There it goes. Yeah, it's looking at the ROM file name. LE. $723. Region. Well, something went wrong here. Okay, so region, I don't know what on earth. Okay, apparently I need to look into something here. Region keen. I don't know where that's coming from. If I take a look at, it's blank. I think this might be a glitch with my layout, actually. That's pretty strange. Or no, this, you know what it is? Is it a translation issue? Is that supposed to say none? I bet it I bet it is. Well, there's a glitch to look into. Then we have region United States and United States Europe and United States Japan and world. So I'll be right back, guys. My kids are acting up, so give me 1 second here. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Hopefully we can get another hour and a half in here. We'll see. Worst case scenario is I might have to cut it off because my kids are up now. They got up from their naps. We'll see. So yeah, none in German. So we have a couple issues here that I need to look at. I'm just going to open up in Notepad for a second so I can track this stuff. I won't necessarily resolve this on the live stream. Why is region none showing up in German? Did you say that's German? That's really weird because German isn't even enabled yet. But maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know why that's happening. I'm going to have to look into that. That's really strange. And then the other issue that's showing up is what was the other issue that we ran into? Oh, the error on import, dictionary error on import. Okay, so I got those saved, so I can look into those in a second. But game room, yeah, I don't know. The right now you can already filter, of course, by region if you want. And I'm hesitant to add another global filter thing. Although I can see it for big box, I can see it being useful in big box. But no, I won't be doing that right away. We can add a ticket for Bitbucket for that if we want. If you want it, and we can vote on it to see how many people are interested in that. Is that the issue? Is that the whole problem, OPAC? Okay. Well, if I go into options and sidebar, that's okay. I get it. I get it. So that's not really a problem. It's just that I didn't realize it was using the same stuff there. Thank you. I appreciate that, OPAC. Thanks for identifying that for me. Yeah, so it's not an issue for people. I mean, the reason why I haven't fixed it is because people can customize it, and I don't want to overwrite anybody's customizations when they change languages. So that's why that's an issue. It's only an issue for people who are constantly changing languages. But that's good to know. Thank you, OPAC. I appreciate you clearing that up for me. I thought it might be related to that, but I wasn't sure. That's great. Shades, would it make sense to have the country as a sub-platform under the game platform on the left? Sure. The region, you mean? Yeah, we've subcategories in the sidebar has been a request in the past. I wouldn't say it's a common request, but we've had that requested, but we don't have that implemented yet. So I don't have any way to do subcategories. But when we do subcategories, that should definitely be an option. That does make sense. Um, for me, German was still enabled after updating to official 6.3. Oh, really? Oh, you know what? That doesn't matter that much, but I think I know why. OPAC. Maybe it's because German was already selected. I bet honestly, I bet if you unselect German, it'll go away. OPAC. Did I get the glitches worked out on my end for Rocket Launcher, K Money? Um, can you explain that to me? What in particular? Sorry, I've got a lot of stuff going through my head. So, what in particular for Rocket Launcher are you referring to? Subcategories. Yeah, I know that's a high priority. I know. Or for some people, for a few people, it's a high priority. It's not a common request. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. I should check the Bitbucket. It probably is on Bitbucket. I remember seeing it on Bitbucket now. I'm eating my words. So yes, we can look into doing that soon. Let's see. If we take a look, um, sub. I know it's in here somewhere, but it doesn't look like it's on the top voted tickets. But anyways, yeah, I definitely need to do that. But we got a lot of tickets in the mix before we get there, unfortunately. Relative paths was an issue. Um, I'm trying to remember everything, K Money. There was a particular issue with Rocket Launcher that there were a couple issues that got resolved, and it wasn't really. Oh yeah, I know what you're probably thinking of. The issue with the platforms not always showing up in the XML. I did fix that particular issue. Um, and then there were a couple issues I fixed, but I don't recall a relative pathing issue. We had a different relative paths issue for the image migrations, but that's fixed. But anyways, yeah, I'm not aware of any immediate horrible issues with the rocket launcher integration. Everything should be working at least. And there was a bug or two on the rocket launcher side, but I think they're working on that as well. It make more sense to realize this with nested filters. Sure. Yeah, makes sense. Subcategories would also be great. Great stuff all around. Deleting files greater than all. That's what we're going to do next. Let's get that done. I'm going to call this functional as far as my initial test. Although I also apparently have a glitch here. I've seen this before, but for some reason I haven't been able to replicate it that well. But now I have an easy way to replicate it. You see how none is repeated. That shouldn't be like that. It should just be listed once. So that's something I need to look into. I should note that here. None is repeated. All right. Moving on. Deleting ROMs. Here we go. So when we delete a game, I want to pop up another box after this that says, um, it should say something like, would you like to delete the ROM files as well? So that's what's next. So in the main form, when we delete a game, delete button click is called. I think every single delete is just pointed to that. Yeah, exactly. All three ways of deleting. We pop up the message box to ask whether you want to delete, whether you really want to delete. Oh, this is if there's one game, and this is if there's multiple games. Okay. Remove the game. I think we should pop up the next message box before doing it. So we can say if message box helper dot prompt yes no this, and we're going to want to put our error message or our question there. We're going to want to default to no. So that's button 2 equals dialog result dot yes. Then we actually do the delete. So we need the message. Then in here, the tricky thing here, we really only want to do this with ROMs. We don't want to do this with something like DOS games because yeah, I could do that DOS. It's kind of a pain because I got to add an option and add it to the options screen and all that crap. But yes, we could do that. It's um, the thing is, I mean, if it was like more common thing, because how often are you really going to delete a game? Probably not that often, and you can do it in batch. So you select all the games you want to delete, you hit the delete key, and having another box pop up probably isn't the end of the world. So I don't think I'm probably going to do that in this session, just because I'd have to do the GUI work and the settings work and all that stuff, and I'd rather not do that right now. Although I hear you, this isn't a feature I've ever wanted, to be honest. I didn't want LaunchBox even having the ability to delete things, but everybody's wanted this for so long, so I'm caving uh, to actually do it. But yes, it makes sense. We should add a ticket for that, but I don't really want to implement it right this instant. If you're new to LaunchBox, this is the most important function. You think so, OPEC? Why is that? Yeah, just because people want to keep their hard drives clean, I guess. They don't want the extra stuff in there. All right. Anyways, um, so what we need to do is make sure if not string dot is null or empty. Um, well, we only want to prompt if we can actually get at the file, too. So, no, I don't want to do that. Whoops. Not string dot is null or empty. The game 0 dot application path. And my kids are acting up again. All right, we're going to get this done. Here we go. Yeah, I know. It's a common requested thing. Which is why we're tackling it. It's like one of the, well, it's one of the most common tickets, or the most popular tickets on Bitbucket. So anyways, if not string, it is no empty games 0.application path, and we want to, I only want to do it if the game is using emulation. Game 0 dot emulator ID. I think, is that a string? Yeah, and not string dot is null or empty. So this basically is only going to work for ROMs. I don't want it to work for DOS games or ScumVM or Windows games, because that's just going to be treacherous. So it's only going to work for emulated platforms. And file.exists games 0.application path. Then we have the ability to delete it, because we found the file. It's a valid situation where it's emulated. So we prompt, and if the user says yes, then we simply say file.delete games 0.application path. We should populate this error message, and of course I got to do the translation stuff. Would you like to delete the ROM files on the ROM file on your hard drive as well? This cannot be undone. Plenty of tickets. It would be easier if only files in the LaunchBox folder can be deleted. It might be safer. Although I know if I do that, we're going to have requests to implement it and remove that limitation. So I don't think I'm gonna force that, because a lot of people keep their stuff outside the LaunchBox folder, and so people are going to complain. So I think we'll just leave it with this. If you'd like to delete the ROM file on your hard drive as well, this cannot be undone. That's good enough. Let's add a string for that. We'll go to, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna, this cannot be undone. We're going to go to properties, strings, message, delete, ROM file. Strings dot message delete ROM file. Okay, so that works for the single. I actually want to put this in a try catch block though, just in case there's an issue parsing the file on the hard drive or something. I'm just not going to show the dialog ultimately. I'm going to ignore it, which is a cardinal sin in the development world, and I don't care. There we go. And then we have the multiple ROM files deleted at a time thing. So we go for each var game and games. We kind of need to see if any of them exist before prompting. I think I'm going to go ahead and now we'll just show it. So we'll start with that. We're going to have to change this to ROM files. So first things first, put this here. And I'm going to say bool delete equals false. And if they say yes, delete equals true. Yeah. This is going to be delete ROM files. Go ahead and do that here. Message, delete ROM file. Would you like to delete the ROM files associated with these games from your hard drive as well? Because it's possible that there aren't going to be, the trick here is it's possible that we're dealing with DOS games or something and there are no ROM files. So I'm going to have to check for that, unfortunately. Message, delete ROM files. I'm going to have to figure out how to check that. I basically go through all the games and check to see if they're if they're emulated platforms. If there's any emulated platforms, it's probably the easiest way to do it. That'll do. Okay, delete ROM files. Delete equals true. And then for each game, we run one of these checks. If not string that is null or empty, game dot application path, and not string that is null or empty, game dot emulator ID, and file that exists, game dot application path. Then we're going to go file dot delete. Oh, also, don't want to forget this, if delete and file dot delete game dot application path. Okay, and that should be in a try catch block as well. We don't want to kill the process or break the app if a file can't be deleted for some reason. We should probably show an error in that case, actually. But for now, I'm just going to ignore it. And then up here, fine, do your thing. Okay. Maybe just exclude DOS, SCUM, and Windows games. That's basically what we're doing OPAC already when we exclude, when we make sure that it's an emulated game. When I do this string is null or empty game to emulator ID, basically it just checks to make sure the game is an emulated game, has an emulator assigned to it. Now, what I should do before we do this prompt is I have to switch this up a little. Maybe I should do that first. And then what we can do is go for each var game in games, if not string dot is null or empty game dot emulator ID, then we know it's an emulated game. I can say bool emulated, delete, and we'll get rid of this one. Equals false, delete equals false. Okay, and we're going to say emulated equals true and break the loop because we don't need to loop anymore at that point. And we can use link, whatever, do your thing. Okay. And then if emulated, then we need to prompt. Otherwise, we don't want to prompt at all. Okay, and then if it's emulated and prompted, and the user said yes to delete, then we go ahead and delete. There we go. Okay. Build it, give it a test. I got to be careful though, because I don't want to delete any games from my main LaunchBox folder. So we'll go start up our test instance. Excuse me. All right. The trick with these is this is my good collection of ROMs, so I don't want to delete them. So I'm going to add something manually here. A better way to do this would be to run an import, make this easier. So I'm going to pull out something small. This is relatively small, this Sega Genesis set here. I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to put it on my desktop so that we're not deleting anything that's important. So first off, I'm going to delete all my Sega Genesis games here, and I'm going to say, yeah, I want to delete the games. Would you like to delete the ROM files associated with these games from your hard drive as well? No. That's scary. I don't like that. Okay. Anyways, then we'll go ahead and I'm just going to do a drag and drop. Desktop. Sega Genesis. Drag and drop. ROM files. Sega Genesis. Oh, what happened? There we go. Next. Doesn't matter. Next. Use in the current location. Next. None. None. Next. Finish. There it goes. We got that same weird error that I have that on my plate to look at. Yes, I would. So I added 18 Sega Genesis games, and we're going to delete these things. Look at there's my folder here with all my ROMs in it. And if I delete these, let's try one here first. F-15 Strike Eagle. It's called F-15 Strike Eagle 2U. Delete that guy. Yes. Yes. Now if we look in the folder, it's still there. Why is it still there? Crap. Here we go. Alright, so if I put a breakpoint right here, we can walk through it. Try it for F1 World Championship. Delete. Yes. Okay, we have an application path. Oh, you know what? Oh no. Okay, it found the file and everything. It prompts. Yes, I would. And it tells it to delete it. F1 World Championship U. Really? We have an error? What is the error? That's pretty strange. Okay. Well. For now, I'm just going to cheat. Strange. Yeah, Kirsten's photo is on my desktop because I posted it to Facebook recently here, and she sent it to me for me to post. Uh, yeah, C:\\\/ isn't existing anymore. Oh man. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story here real quick. You ready? When I was when I was a snotty nosed little too smart for my own good kid, I was a little jerk, and I am pretty sure that I single handedly caused Walmart to no longer put computers up in Walmart stores. They still sell computers, but they don't put them out for display anymore. They used to always put them out for display, something like 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know what it was. I guess it was probably when I was like 10 or 11, something like that. So we're talking like 20, 22 years ago. I used to regularly, every single time I would go to Walmart, I probably shouldn't even be admitting this online, but 22 years ago, every time I go to Walmart, I used to go and format the hard drives of every single computer in Walmart because I felt like I was smart. Uh, I was a stupid hacker. I was one of those little kitty hackers, that I knew how to format a hard drive, I knew how to delete data, and I thought I was all kinds of special. And back in the day, they had no protection on those machines, and they would put them out, and so you could literally just with a single command destroy the hard drives of the computers. I mean, not destroy the actual hardware, but they would need to be restored from restored disks, of course, to get, because if you format a hard drive, it deletes all the data on the entire computer. And so I used to do that at every single Walmart that I could get my hands on, every single time I went to Walmart. And I'm sure I caused quite a bit of irritation to people because they were always, I saved a job. I doubt it, but yeah. I doubt Walmart had a techie on hand to solve the problem. They probably had to ship them off or something like that. I probably wasted a bunch of oil. That's probably what I did. So, anyways, that was me. Sorry, my fault. Anyways, what's going on here? What's my problem? Let's figure this out. If we delete this, I don't need to walk through because I got the error message. Yes. Yes. Why is the desktop not authorized? It must be you must be right. It must be read only. That's all I can figure. I guess I am gonna need. Yeah, they're all read only files. Look at that. Look at that. So I better get some decent error handling in there. Goodness. That's why I always throw delete operations in a try catch because you never know. But in this case, I should report an error if a file can't be deleted. So we're going to say message box helper dot show error this string dot format culture info dot current culture strings dot error delete could not delete file. I guess I'll have to put a new one in there, and then we'll just do ex.message. Except I probably need the file name as well. So really this actually should go in here is what it should do. I need another one, a different one in here. And we'll keep that one as ignored. Because basically what that's doing is it's checking to make sure this file that exists, because this can throw an error. And if that throws an error, then we just ignore it, because there's no good reason to trap it. We just don't show the box. But in here, we definitely want to do something better. And the file is games0.application path. Error could not delete file. And then we do the same thing ultimately down here. Game.application path and game.application path. All right. Did the string in there. Error could not delete file. Error could not delete file. Could not delete file. Quotes. That's where the file name is going to go. We'll do colon, and then the error message goes on the bottom. There it is. The only other thing I'm thinking, what was I thinking? I lost my train of thought. Whatever, move on. I don't need this stuff. I'm not sure running, actually, Gabriel, I'm not sure running LaunchBox as administrator would fix this one, believe it or not. Because it's a read-only file issue. It has nothing with file permissions. It's because the file is read-only. Because it's on my desktop. It's not a restricted folder or anything. Alright, so we did build, right? Yeah. Go ahead and give it a run. Okay. Now, if I delete Madden NFL 98, yes, yes. Could not delete file. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that we had an absolute path. So I should check that out. Last thing to deal with. Then it says access to the path is denied. All right. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So when we check for file that exists, we want to get utilities that get full path. And then also on delete, we want to use that as well. The reason for that is sometimes with relative paths, if the current directory is messed up, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. So that's just a safeguard, basically. And we do it again down here. Utilities.getFullPath. And right here as well. There it is. Now, we should be good to go on this, I think. So I want to test, before I make those files not read-only, so it's actually going to work, I'm going to go ahead and test a single delete operation here, and a multiple delete operation. Yes, yes, error. Good. Now we're going to delete just these two. Say delete, yes. The ROM file is associated, yes. We got one error for NBA Live 98 and another error for Out of This World. There it is. Okay, and now the next thing I'm going to do is go back into Sega Genesis and mark and on the desktop and mark all these as not read-only. And hopefully we'll start with one. Pack attack should be deleted. Did an error. Pack attack is gone. And we'll select the rest of them. Delete. Yes. Yes. And a bunch should be gone. There they go. Good. So that's working. That feature's there. The more when I see this feature here, though, to be honest, I'm with Critical Sid. I would really like an option there to disable this. So, because I don't like doing that. I don't like having that there. And personally, I want to keep all my ROMs. Is I get a full set and I want to keep the full set, whether it's in my LaunchBox collection or not. I want to keep the full set on my hard drive. But you know, different people like different things. So I'm tempted to add an option to do that right now, to disable that delete prompt, because I don't want my kids in there playing either and accidentally deleting some of my ROMs. So you know, or doing it. I mean, my kids don't have access to my collection, but they have their own collections, and if they accidentally delete a ROM, then I've got to go copy it back over to their drive. So I feel like we almost do need that option after seeing this all here. So that's something I should probably add. I'm thinking one thing I could do is just I don't have to do the GUI right away. I can add the option. So let's go ahead and do that. If we go settings, whoops, let's go, let's add it to the end. Data table export, public bool, allow deleting ROMs, get and set. Now that's going to default to false right now. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, should we enable it by default or disable it by default? Oh, it is recommended OPAC for sure. Yeah, that's definitely that's what I do. I keep all my ROMs in my LaunchBox folder. I'm only just doing it this way for testing purposes. The reason why it's smart to keep all your ROMs in the LaunchBox folder is then you can move your LaunchBox folder anywhere and it'll just work. Donate. Okay. Give the robots control. In other words, you give me control. All right. Allow deleting ROMs. So the next thing I want to do is just not show this if allow deleting ROMs is false. Um, if program.datamanager.settings.allow deleting ROMs, and so we'll put that there, and we're also going to put that here. If emulated and program.datamanager settings allow deleting ROMs. There it is. So now it shouldn't pop up if that's not enabled. Question is still, should we make that enabled by default, or should we disable it by default? Of course, if we disable it by default, I better add an option for it so you guys can enable it. So let's see what that would take here. How long it's going to take? Probably not that long. I just hate doing it. So if we go to, where are we going to put it first? Let's figure that out. It's so hard to navigate this in this format, so I'm going to go load up the regular screen. Okay. So OPAC agrees with me that it probably shouldn't be on by default. Don't have it by default. Yeah. All right. Take it easy, Ali. So options, general. We could just throw it in here. Doesn't apply to any of this stuff really. If we put it in general, yeah, it'll get discovered at least because it is a fairly important option. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll put it here in general. I'm just going to copy this guy. And make it easy on myself. Just put it in that little empty space there. And we'll say allow deleting ROMs when deleting games, if that fits. Allow deleting. We're going to have an issue with space for the other translations likely, but that's fine for now. Allow deleting ROMs checkbox. And then I'm going to need to work on the tab index stuff. So if we go tab order, maybe not, tab order 0, there it is. That'll do. Oh, get out of here. Okay. And then we just need to save and load it. So that wasn't too hard. It didn't take too long. So save values. Wake up. Low memory detected. All right. This.manager.settings.allow deleting ROMs equals this.allow deleting ROMs checkbox.checked. And then loading is just as easy. What's the problem here? Load values, that's what it is. This dot allow deleting ROMs checkbox dot checked equals program dot we're using this dot manager for this stuff. This dot manager dot settings dot allow deleting ROMs. Allow ROM deletion might be better for other languages. Sure, but that can happen on translation. Game room. Because the translators can definitely I mean, you can rephrase things. They can rephrase things as they translate. Okay. Crash. No. Good. Build. Test this finally. Lastly. Give it a start. All right. Now I'm going to have to, so in options, make sure this saves. It's unchecked by default. We go ahead and check it and close it out. Start it back up and let's make sure it's checked and everything's saving. There it is. We're in good shape there. Now I shouldn't even be prompted now. If I try and delete this, I don't want it. Well, I can delete the game. That's safe. We're fine there. Yes, I want to permanently delete Super Copa. Fine. Yeah, and I'm not prompted to delete, so that's good. If I turn that back on, and delete this game, yes, then it's going to prompt. I can say no because I don't want that file deleted. We're in good shape. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about. I accidentally deleted all my ROMs. Yeah, well, and that's why we're gonna make it off by default. So that is a good plan. But this is great. We just added we just two big Bitbucket tickets that people have been asking for a long time with a lot of votes. We just knocked out for the most part. So that's really awesome. Really, really awesome. So I'm going to go update the changelog for 6.4. Version 6.4, released who knows when. New feature. And I'm not going to make either of these premium features, I don't think. We'll leave them in there for everybody. Uh, New feature, deleting ROM files when deleting games is now possible. Um, Check the box to allow deleting ROM files in the LaunchBox general options. Then, new feature, um, region information can now be parsed from ROM file names for no intro and good sets and possibly other naming formats. Save it. There you go. Okay. Cool. So, we have about 40 minutes left, although my kids are acting up, so I might just hop off here, check on them. What's going on is my wife actually left the country. She's in Mexico for the next 8 days, and so I'm here by myself with the kids. Uh, I'll be fine, but it's not my ideal situation, that's for sure. I'm not looking forward to trying to get my stuff done on top of being home by myself with the kids. But and I'm gonna miss my wife too. But so basically, for the next until this coming Monday, the kids are solely my responsibility. So hopefully they're not burning the house down right now. I'm sure they're fine. Um, my youngest is 4 and my oldest is 8. So they can do it. They can wreak a lot of havoc. So that's why I changed the time to 3 o'clock to try and coincide with their nap times. I could also do it in the evening again. That worked really well for me last time, and I can develop during the day while I'm watching them. But of live streaming is difficult, of course. So, anyways, that's what's going on with the different time. I think I'm gonna probably there Pokemon. I'm gonna probably keep it at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock work well for you guys? We didn't have a huge number on the stream, but we got a decent number of people, a good 20 people, something like that. Um, so I'll probably stick with I'll probably stick with the 3 o'clock time for the next couple sessions because that's pretty much the easiest for me right now. Um, and I'm still getting plenty of development time in. I'm developing in the evenings and all that stuff, so still getting my time in. It's just in between. I gotta watch the kids. So and then they end in some sewers catching a Pikachu. End up in some sewers. All right, guys. Well, let's take a look at the tickets and see if there's anything else in here that is quick and can be done relatively easily here. Um, I feel like I can't quite close this out because there's more to it. So I'll come back to that. The delete things, obviously, we got done. I didn't read all this stuff recently, though. Oh, sure. That's good. That's what I did. Resolve. This is completed for the next 6.4 beta. Change. What else we got that's high up in the list that I could do quickly? So if we did that, we did a part of that. Attract mode is not going to be fast. Steam video download is not going to be fast. Nested filters is not going to be fast. Nested filters. This is the one I was looking for. So yeah, that makes sense. So that is a popular issue. Number of local players. Why does that have 26 votes? Interesting. Ah, sure. I agree on that, although I need to do some thinking on that to come up with the best solution. And we need to make the LaunchBox Games database match up with it as well. So I'm not going to do that right now, but I agree that that needs to happen soon. Image data name same as ROMs or rename all option. So basically, right now, you can name the images the same as ROMs, but it doesn't do that automatically. It names them, basically names them automatically as the name of the game right now. So honestly, I don't. I would think a lot more things are more priority than that. So and that's not going to be quick either. Additional scrape options. What's this? I've seen it before. Oh, sure, of course, like Moby Games and Giant Bomb and so many different others. Of course, that's a common request, although less so now that we've added LaunchBox Games database. We've started to solve all those issues, and people can add their own data, and so there's all kinds of big improvements from that front. But that's still a request, although that's going to take forever to do. That's not quick. That takes a long time. So that's not something we're going to do today. Allow scrolling big box notes text. Sure, that's a common request. I don't know that I could get that done in a half hour. I'm not going to be able to get anything done in a half hour, possibly, but, you know, I'm going to go through the list with you guys to see if there's anything. Yeah, at gunpoint, I forgot to mention. What do you mean, DOS? The, yeah, we already did delete multiple files. I tested that earlier, OPAC, and it's working. Um, Custom fields and custom filters, that's going to require a complete revamp of the custom filters, which I will admit that's the worst part of LaunchBox right now. Custom filters are crap, and I really need to get back to them and fix that up. It's kind of, that dialogue is horrible. Option to create custom submenus and manual sorting in Big Box. That's interesting. Community-based ratings. See, we have that on the LaunchBox Games database, but we don't have that in LaunchBox yet. That's a big deal. That's something we need to do. Customize the priority of the databases before scraping. Interesting. So, um, let's read this. Oh, when other scrapers get implemented. Does seem Wikipedia is chosen over LaunchBox Games database and selected, and it should probably be the other way around. That shouldn't be the case. No, that can't be the case. If that was the case, everything would be broke. So I'm almost positive that's not true. All right, so force fan art if screenshots as background is enabled. Oh, well, this is already done. When the option to use screenshots as background is activated in big box mode, it shows random screenshots or fan art, but I would like it to show only fan art if fan art exists for the game, and that it only shows me screenshots in the background. Yes, this is taken care of. This is already implemented. So I'm going to go ahead and resolve that. This is new for 6.3. Added for 6.3 with the image priorities features. Okay. Rearranging big box elements. Well, that's basically. I'm going to say this is done because we have custom themes and custom views. So I'm going to call that done. Okay. Oh yeah, I missed that. I missed your comment earlier, DOS76. That makes sense. Yeah, and that's why I keep hearing about Pokemon Go, the robbing people thing. Opening manuals within Big Box. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Uh, I know we got a ticket for that. Also, motion towards nested filters. Sure. Looks like I'm going to be doing nested filters here soon. That's been the most requested thing on this session, I think. Um, what else we got? All game details in LaunchBox. I'm pretty sure that's done too, but no reordering. Uh, yeah, I might call that done though. Honestly, this is right now. You can. I added checkboxes so you can hide and show everything in the sidebar in the game details sidebar. So, for example, all this stuff, every single line can be hidden or shown, but you can't reorder it right now. Is the thing, but that has not been requested. But I added this reordering options thing, so that's why it's still here. I'm going to close it out. Um, Options were added to hide and show, but not reorder. But I haven't heard anybody request reordering specifically, so going to assume no one cares. And people can add a new ticket if they care about the ordering of that stuff. All right, let's check on comments here. Attract mode, yes. Well, you'll notice that attract mode is my number 2 ticket here. And actually, it's number 1 because I basically just solved the region stuff, although there's other pieces in here to tie together. But yeah, my number 1 ticket, number 1 most voted ticket is attract mode. Uh, and also, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but earlier today um, I just posted a forum post and I put it on Facebook and everything too. We're having Monster Arcades build us a tabletop, a bar top arcade cabinet that we're going to be bringing with us to gaming conventions. The first one that I'm hoping to have it at is uh, in Texas. It's Retro Palooza, the one the Game Chasers put on, that Jay puts on. Um, we're going to be there. We're sponsoring the event and all that stuff, as you guys know. I'm sure you've heard. And I'm going to be bringing an arcade cabinet with LED Blinky support, so that's guaranteed coming here soon. And the whole bit with Big Box on it to show that off and let people play on it during the event. So the only thing is, I need people to help me design the art for the cabinet. So if anybody on here is a designer and has skills with that stuff, if you're a professional designer, I'd even love to pay you for your work. I just need to get in touch with somebody who's going to do an excellent job. And if you're a pro,
we'll definitely compensate you. But otherwise, if you're a hobbyist, I'd love to get your help too. So hit us up, guys, on the uh, on that forum post. Let me know if you need a link to it or something. But just check Facebook because it's on Facebook. But hit us up on that forum post if you're interested in helping us out design that cabinet. If nobody comes and helps me out, I might try tackling it myself and then fail at it and then go to some other professional design firm so we can get that designed. So, anyways, that's the plan there. I'm excited about that uh, to get that that built. I have an arcade cabinet from Rec Room Masters, and I love it. It's great, but it doesn't have any LED blinky support. Doesn't have any blinking buttons or any of that. And I hopefully I can add that eventually. But this is going to be we'll be able to bring this with us to gaming conventions, which is exciting. So that's that. DAW 76 heading out. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. Whatever. Yep, it's getting to be almost night over here. Take it easy, DOS. Nested filters and big box submenus are my most anticipated features. Okay. All right. Good to know, Sid. Thanks. Uh, it sounds like nested filters in particular are going to be are going to be happening relatively soon. Beatlemaniac with nested filters. If you can nest your platforms into filters such as arcade, consoles, handheld, and home computers, that's ideal. Sure. I've heard that before. Looking forward to LED Blinky. Absolutely. Me too. Makes LaunchBox much more customizable, flexible. Makes sense. Cool. All right. Well, what else we got here? Um, okay. Advanced search options is the next one.
Sure. Completely unrelated games.
So basically, to be able to search various fields. That makes sense. Support for media like movies and TV series. Sure. This is far fetched. I'll still say that. Obviously, you can already add your media to LaunchBox, um, but I don't see this happening anytime soon. We just have too much game related stuff to do in the meantime before we get to something like that. Animated backgrounds and that said, support for gaming soundtracks in particular is a big one for me. I've been putting that off for ages and ages and ages. I would love to see proper support for game soundtracks, so that you can right click and see a track listing of all the songs in a particular soundtrack, and play them well inside of Launchbox or Big Box. So that's a big deal for me. So we'll probably get to that relatively soon. Animated backgrounds and animated box art. Interesting. Animated backgrounds in Launchbox are difficult to do, and require some significant restructuring as far as how we're doing everything. Um, so I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon. I would rather put the super graphically pretty stuff in big box. I Launchbox is very very important, but the goal of Launchbox is not to do big flashy animation stuff. So that's what big box is for. So to be honest, I'm not sure that's something that I'm going to be doing anytime soon. Um, Unless, of course, the entire community rallies against me and says, "You're an idiot. You need to do it now." You know, that happens, and I've changed my mind before. Progress indicator for extraction of 7-zip RAR and zip ROMs. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big deal. Custom media case for box art. Sure, that would be very cool. I like that idea. Search for games in big box is a big one. LED blinky support, the big one. Autoplay music when launching big box and or launch box. Ah, yeah, music in the background. Add rotating disc art for disc-based systems. That would be so cool. I'd love to see that. But that's difficult too, and you need good images in order to be able to do it. So there's all kinds of potential issues there, but that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be really neat. Propping multi-disc ROM support. I'm surprised that doesn't have more votes. Honestly, right now the biggest issue that we have with LaunchBox as is importing and dealing with multiple disk games. Because right now you can handle it just fine with additional applications, but there's no way to import. Um, and I'm not sure how we would do it, to be honest. It's going to be difficult to import multi-disc games any way you look at it, but that is a problem that needs solved. That's a pretty serious problem that needs solved, actually. We need a better way to handle that, just for sure. Um, Report generator for missing existing media, sure. Or basically being able to filter by missing media is another big deal. Image drag and drop support in the LaunchBox editor. I thought we had that, but well, yeah, it needs to be improved for sure. Kid mode with password, that's been done basically, but no, it's not for games. So that's another thing to look at, to work on. And that would actually be a fairly easy thing to do, but we're kind of running out of time now. But what I'm envisioning this to do, I'm not sure that we'll do this in LaunchBox or not. Maybe it depends on if that's requested for LaunchBox. But for Big Box especially, we already have the pin set up, so you can go in and relatively easily. We could just go in and add a restrictions based on the ESRB rating, so that any games higher than a particular ESRB rating aren't allowed to be played in kid mode or while it's locked. So that would be relatively simple to do. So that's something I might look at doing soon. But that's the whole first page. So there's lots to do here, but we did the two things. Basically, what we just did were the two things on the list that were relatively quick to do, but very highly requested. So obviously, those are the highest priorities to do, because I gotta weigh my priorities so that the quick things that have a high priority I get done first, if that makes any sense. So that's where we're at there. Let's check on the comments here real quick, and I think we'll probably just end the call here so I can check on my kids and get back to them. Let's see. Could you make a new tab in Bitbox for the view platforms, view genres, and all that stuff? Yeah, I could. Separate that out from the regular system view. I can see that. Yeah, possibly. I don't know what you mean by a new tab, but a new screen. If that's what you mean, I think that makes sense. Um, or the ability to switch between them somehow better. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to do that better, but I agree that it would be nice to do that a little better. K Money, I think it'd be cool to hear an arcade ambience in the background of Big Box. Sure. So you could do that with background music. It's the same thing. So ultimately, that's a feature that we'll be looking to add. The ability to use VLC to play OGG music files. So use VLC instead of Windows Media Player for music. That's another thing on my list. I do plan on doing that. Gaming soundtracks would be amazing. Yeah, I feel like you need to create a new menu within LaunchBox that allows you to fast forward, rewind. Exactly. That's the plan. And same thing in Big Box. Um, Beatomaniac. Put in a Bitbucket about multi-disc. Sure. I don't know if that's the one that's in there or if that's a duplicate shades, but either way, thanks. Adding confirmation for shutdown in Big Box is still needed. Yes. Confirmation for shutdown. True. True. What about the games database? Any plans to start working on that again soon? Yes. Yes, I put that off once again. I'm sorry for that. Especially deleting things. This week, the games database isn't something I can easily work on in the live development stream. It is, but it's probably a little more boring, and people have said they don't really want me to work on that during the live stream, and so that to be honest, that sort of put me off a little bit. I probably just need to do it in the live stream. I'll tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do. Wednesday, in the live stream, we're definitely gonna work on the LaunchBox games database. Since we just tackled these features, there's no reason why not. So let's go ahead and on Wednesday I'll work on the LaunchBox games database. If I don't get to it tomorrow or today, tonight, whatever, we'll definitely do the LaunchBox games database on Wednesday, because yeah, I've been putting that off way too long. I need to add things like deleting games, And what else? Uh, Duplicates, stuff like that. There's a lot of things, a lot of little tiny missing pieces that I need to get in and fix or add functionality for. Opaque Lopper, yeah, I'm in a new window. It removed 10 items from the big box menu. Not so much scrolling anymore. Sure, sure, that makes sense. Absolutely. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll be back with you on Wednesday, and I'll be cleaning stuff up here in the process. It's possible we might have 6.4 put out before Wednesday. Um, so, but either way, we'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to focus on making sure everything is as stable as possible here. I do have a number of things to fix. Couple errors that have been reported since the 6.3 release. So that's top priority. Fixing that. Well, first of all, determining how common that stuff is, and if it is common, then fixing it immediately and putting out an immediate new release. So that's where I'm at there, and then we'll get back to the LaunchBox Games database next. Um, Shades, GamesDB, and connecting the LaunchBox to the Games database is sorely needed. Yeah, I know, man, I know. I'm a little bit afraid on that one, to be honest, Shades. I had big plans for that, huge plans for that. One of them being batch uploading images to the LaunchBox Games database from LaunchBox. And I'm still excited about that. I still want to do that, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of a couple things. One is people are going to steal all the Hyperspin images and upload them in batch to the LaunchBox Games database, which is great coverage. And then the Hyperspin community is going to be mad at me. That's my biggest concern. That's kind of why it's been put off for so long. I just don't know how to solve that problem. I don't know how to check whether something is from the Hyperspin uh, database or not. So even if okay, somebody in their personal collection downloads clear logos from Hyperspin or something from Hyperspin unique to Hyperspin and uploads 5 of them to the LaunchBox Games database, I might still get flack for that. So it's stupid, but and people can already do that, and they already are doing that, and they were doing that way back when we were using the GamesDB.net, So to a certain extent, it's unavoidable, but I need to make sure that I'm not encouraging people to rip stuff from the Hyperspin community and also EMU Movies. I got to make sure that we're not automatically just uploading all the EMU Movies stuff to the LaunchBox Games database. Although that is a lot easier because I have access to the EMU Movies API. So, anyways, that's a trick that I need to figure out how to solve. I wish I didn't have to figure that out. I wish everybody just played nice with each other, but that's not really how it all works. So, we already have cooperation with the Hyperspin community largely. But well, here's the thing. Okay, so I started talking with the Hyperspin community, getting cooperation with them, and lots of individual users in the Hyperspin community want want to upload their images that they've worked on to the LaunchBox Games database. One of the issues, though, is the Hyperspin leadership has chosen to charge people for access to their API, basically, which provides images to everybody. Okay, and nothing wrong with that. EMU Movies does the same thing for videos, although EMU Movies has made all the images free. So they're really kind of the first group to charge people for API access to images, at least in the emulation community that I know of. I don't know how successful they're going to be, but when I came to them and asked them, and I don't blame them for anything, I really don't. Um, but when I came to them and asked them, um, about access to their media and stuff within LaunchBox, their answer was, "Sure, here's this API. It costs this amount of money per person to use." And unfortunately, especially since all the images Hyperspin from the Hyperspin community are free anyways, it's just a manual download process on their forums. I just don't feel like it's going to be used if I implement it implement their API in LaunchBox, because people can already get the data, and nobody's going to want to pay more for the EMU Movies stuff. Is my concern, right? Or I mean, not EMU Movies, people already pay for emu movies. Nobody's going to want to pay more again for another provider on top of the LaunchBox Games database and emu movies. I just don't see that being a common thing. So their request, and I don't blame them. It makes a lot of sense. They've got a great community over there, and they've got quality stuff. And in some cases, it's not available anywhere else. Um, so they have something worth that has value, and so they want to charge for the API access, and so that's why that's where a lot of my concern comes from as far as uh, users uploading their images because they want to charge for access, and so that's the trick that we're dealing with. So I don't have a solution for that yet. I'm kind of afraid of it. I don't know what to do. And that's kind of put off the whole batch uploading from LaunchBox, batch syncing from LaunchBox, etc. for all that stuff. Kaleidoscope, that would work, except for the fact that I have no way to identify what's Hyperspin media and what's not. So the moment I allow uploads to the LaunchBox Games database for any image on somebody's hard drive, that's when it becomes a possible major issue if somebody's going to upload a full set of Hyperspin media. You know what I mean? So it's like until I'm able to actually recognize Hyperspin media, which honestly straight up isn't possible. There's no way for me to figure out to do a search to figure out okay what's from Hyperspin and what's not. Um, which is why this has been happening for decades. I mean, the GamesDB.net is full of images from Hyperspin and other sources. Even Emu Movies is full of stuff from Emu Movies. So it's almost unavoidable. Um, but I don't want to piss anybody off, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to be mean. I don't want to screw somebody over. I don't want to piss anybody off, and I don't want to be mean, which is why I've sort of delayed that in particular. So, anyways, long tangent. Um, anyways, take it easy, OPAC. Any donate, take it easy as well. Thank you guys for being here. Um, I'm not giving up on that concept yet because there's still a lot that can be done. We can still sync metadata all day long. It's just images that are part of the problem. Um, the only there's no way I could do that kaleidoscope. Unfortunately, I mean, because that would be way too restrictive to the LaunchBox Games database. To only allow Hyperspin people is kind of, I mean, it's the LaunchBox Games database, not the Hyperspin Games database. And also, I don't think that would solve the problem because not everybody with a Hyperspin subscriber is going to be supportive of protecting their images. So that's unfortunately not a great solution either. Anyways, yeah, take it easy, guys. Have a good one. I can tell I'm boring people now with all my rhetoric about morals and all this crap with the images. But anyways, again, thank you very much for attending, guys. It's been fun. It's been a good, productive session. And I'll see you all on Wednesday, and we'll work on the LaunchBox Games database. Have a good one. Real quick, Critical Sid. Unfortunately, that's not possible because I don't have a database of CRCs for all the media on the Hyperspin database, and the Hyperspin database is so fluid. People are uploading stuff all the time. It's impossible for me to do a CRC check compare, and I have to compare against thousands of files, and there's no way that could work, unfortunately, because nobody has a database of all the CRCs for the entire Hyperspin media collection. So I mean, if it was that, if it, I wish there was a simple way to do that, but unfortunately, there's no good way to do that. To do that. Cool. See you guys. Take it easy. Thanks.